right, so how's everyone doing?
Hey guys.
Awesome. You guys enjoying Pensacon?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, my name is Derek Diamond. I am the host of the Derek Diamond Experience podcast. And a little over a year ago, I wrote and directed my first short film called The Parker Syndrome, which is still in its festival run. And I've got a fantastic group of people is the sequel to my personal all-time favorite panel that we've ever done. This is Defending Bad Movies 2, The Revenge. We did this last year and had a blast doing it and stoked to do it again. So before we get started, why don't you guys introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is award-winning comedy writer Wally Phelps.
I was hoping you'd throw that in there.
I have to share the award with this guy. I am a stand-up comedian from Biloxi, Mississippi. I also co-wrote the movie Monsters Anonymous. Again.
Which you can find on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
My name is Jason Robbins. I'm the co-writer of Monsters Anonymous. Also, I'm the co-host of the Nerd Cave Retro podcast with Mr. Derek Diamond, and I'm also a comedian.
My name is Brandon Rutledge, former actor, comedian on hiatus. For anyone who follows Nerd Cave Retro on Facebook, I'm the guy who always leaves super, super long comments on every new episode. And I believe this is going to be on the Derek Diamond Experience, isn't it?
Yes.
This is my podcast debut.
Hey. My name is Nathan Simmons. I'm going to move the microphone a little closer. I am a freelance writer, write comic book reviews and editorials for AIPTcomics.com. I'm also a local actor, just now getting back into it, so very, very excited about that. And I love bad movies, so I'm excited about.
Then you're in the right place then.
Oh yeah.
And we hope to be joined by Julio Diaz in a bit, who's
cool.
also
Yeah,
an admin for Pensacon, so he's a little occupied at the moment, but we hope to be joined by him later. So how this works, in this hat I have over 80 of the worst movies ever made. I have worst reviews. It's a combination of IMDb's lists, various other websites that I looked at. And when I draw a name out of the hat, these guys have to say nothing but good things about these movies. If they slip up, they are buzzed and they can't talk until I draw another name out. So shall we begin?
Let's begin.
Let us do this.
Sure.
Come on, brother.
Hope we start off with a good one.
By design. We
Okay, we'll start with Star Wars. And this is also, again, a combination of IMDb lists and just other reviews that I've read. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith.
Oh. I like Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. That's basically it.
I really can't say anything bad about it. I mean, the only thing I can say bad about it is I haven't seen it in like 10 years.
Yeah?
He stuck the landing.
I feel that out of all the movies in the prequel trilogy, I feel like that it's the strongest of the three.
There's some great lightsaber stuff in it. And it also has Palpatine saying, "Do it." Which is perfect.
Do it. I am the Senate.
I mean, so many iconic moments happen in that movie. You have Anakin become Vader, you have the Empire rise to power.
She's lost her will to live.
The whole I hate you is amazing to me.
And who could forget? I have the high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's over, Anakin.
Still a meme today, I believe.
And no.
So we're keeping with Star Wars.
Okay.
What the hell?
Probably the most recent movie that's going to be in this hat, The Rise of Skywalker. Very divided movie, by the way.
It is a divided movie.
I haven't seen it yet. Oh. I need to fix that.
You do need to fix that. I like The Rise of Skywalker. like the thing with the Rise of Skywalker is that it does hit a lot of moments that are iconic moments. C-3PO is really used in this movie more than the previous of the sequel in ways that I really enjoyed. I just really liked it. I thought it was a fun time.
Yeah, when Rey and Kylo Ren are about to face off in the Emperor's throne room, and you get that classic Emperor throne room music, like that really like gave me goosebumps during that part.
It's one of the best acted Star Wars movies also. I think the cast is pretty fantastic across the board, especially the returning cast. There's so many, there are a lot of great emotional payoffs.
It's a road trip movie is what it is.
It's fun. I think it's a lot of fun.
Adam Driver's best showing is Kylo Ren. Yeah, easily.
I 100% agree.
The shrug is one of my favorite things. Just he's surrounded and he's like, let's do this. I love that.
Not to mention the backward shot where he just shoots behind himself.
The best. Yeah, for sure.
Grown-ups.
It's got Adam Sandler.
Wait. I don't know.
I'm leaving it vague.
Spade, Kevin James.
The actors were all paid.
From what I understand, craft services was astounding.
Yeah.
Which is key for a feature film, especially.
And they all got a vacation to a tropical climate to make that movie.
It did
good weather.
inspire one of my favorite podcasts ever, actually.
Really?
The sequel, Grown Ups 2, inspired a podcast called The Worst Idea Ever, where these two comedians watched Grown Ups 2 once a week, every week for a year. By episode 8, they've lost their minds.
Yeah.
So I'm actually, weirdly enough, huge fan of Grown Ups 2 because of the podcast.
I don't remember if this was in the first or the second movie, but just that kid that goes, I want to get chocolate wasted.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to get chocolate wasted?
Yeah.
Do I have to have watched
chocolate
Grown Ups 1
wasted.
to understand Grown Ups 2? What's the
I
chronology?
don't know.
Clash of the Titans.
Which?
The newest one.
Ray Fiennes is great in that movie. As Hades, actually a genuinely fun performance. He starts the movie very meek and unassuming, and then by the end of it, he's giving this bonkers Shakespearean performance that I really enjoy. Julio Diaz.
Qui-Gon Jinn as Zeus. I mean, come on.
And who doesn't love that?
Release the Kraken.
Man, Zeus sounds like an Irishman. I don't know. This is great.
They took my answers.
Julio, we were discussing Clash of the Titans.
First of all, I'm sorry that I'm late, but in my defense, since we're defending things, I was making sure that an interview on WAR got done with Edward James Olmos. So,
Nice.
We're defending the most recent Clash of the
Yes.
Titans? Okay. Liam Neeson saying release the Kraken is awesome.
Who could complain about that?
Anakin, tell them to tickle.
That's all I got because I haven't seen it. I've only seen the commercials. So I've heard release the Kraken about
the
9
Kraken.
million times.
Twilight.
I'm
Dope
gonna give the same
soundtrack.
answer Wally gave last year for The Last Airbender.
Absolutely.
Twilight is fantastic because I've never seen it.
No, but absolutely accurate. The soundtrack is very good. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff.
Decode by Paramore. Mwah.
Sick Paramore B-sides.
The moon version of the Braveries, Believe, that's great, man.
I mean, it also inspired a lot of the dialogue in Monsters Anonymous.
Nice.
I mean,
Well, it can't be all that bad.
I also had a stand-up bit that was really solid about, what does a 16-year-old girl and a 108-year-old man have to talk about? So,
You'd be surprised.
perfect movie. Perfect.
I will say I thought I hope again I'm not getting my movies mixed up, but I thought the whole thing about the vampires playing baseball during a very loud thunderstorm, I thought that was actually pretty clever.
That is pretty clever, actually. And my favorite scene in the movie.
It's bonkers. I worked at Borders when that movie came out, and the hysteria around the Twilight fandom was weirdly so pure and happy. Like it was not a toxic thing at all. So I actually really enjoyed that. Like just that experience of seeing people excited to see a film of a book that they loved.
Yeah.
Was Anna Kendrick in all of them, or was she just in?
Yeah.
She doesn't even know.
Okay.
She was in all three.
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Anna
4.
Kendrick can do no
There's
wrong.
actually 4
so-
movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She was really good in them too.
Yeah, she is.
The Happy Time Murders.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Yeah,
I
that
haven't
one's
seen it either.
I actually wanted to see that and never got around to it because Brian Henson was just so excited about
Right.
that. And, I'm all for adult puppet stuff, but that sounded like maybe I shouldn't say it.
Would you like to rephrase that, Julio?
That on my tombstone.
Julio, that's a topic for a different panel.
Yeah. Sorry, that's the that's the private panel. Sorry.
The thing with the Happy Time Murders is the fact that Brian Henson directed the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's getting work.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Bucky Lawson, Born to be a Star.
That's Nick Swartzen's movie, right? So it had Nick Swartzen.
There's some actually really fun. I remember reading an interview, I think with the AV Club, about the behind the scenes of that movie. They did a series called Year of Flops or something like that, where they talked to people who worked on movies that didn't do well. And some of the shenanigans that went into making that film are, I can't, I mean, if you watch the movie, it's literally just like, nope, never mind. I was almost negative. But it seems like everyone had a good time.
I have not and will not see that movie.
Oh, bro, you got to.
I never even heard of it.
No, I've heard. I like Nick Swartzen.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. He is.
He really is.
The Happening.
What? No.
Marky Mark's confused face is never not funny.
It's
He
got
spends the whole movie doing this.
it's got Brian O'Halloran in it, who played Dracula in Monsters Anonymous.
Yeah.
What?
Right, The Happening.
No.
Yeah, right. The thing with The Happening, it's my favorite unintentional comedy ever. I don't know why I find it so amazing. The scene where there's like the group of survivors standing there, and they're hearing the other people shooting themselves off the distance.
Right.
And he's like, what do we do? And they're asking the science teacher.
Yeah.
And he's like, give me a minute to think. And I'm like, what are you going to think of?
Yeah, what are you
doing? Get out of there.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for The Happening, we might never have had Mark Wahlberg starring in Transformers movies.
That's also,
I'm waiting for you to buzz me for that.
There we go.
look. I also feel like that it makes it acceptable for the Wind to be an acceptable monster.
So it's revolutionary.
Right. It was great. See The Invisible Man in theaters now.
Which I've heard is excellent.
Yeah, that's actually getting really great reviews to my shock because the marketing campaign is terrible.
Yeah.
The trailers weren't great, but yeah.
I didn't even know this was even happening.
Yo.
Yeah, well, it came out this weekend. None of us are going.
Yeah. We're all a little occupied.
I got tickets to see it in 10 minutes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, the second Michael Bay produced movie.
Okay, I'm actually prepared for this one.
I am too, believe it or not.
Because my wife is like the biggest like Ninja Turtles fan, and she did enjoy it. But I like the fact, even though it took 6 theatrically released movies, we finally got Bebop and Rocksteady.
I was going to say the same thing. And we got a good Krang. I mean, maybe the design was not what we're used to. But it is absolutely terrifying what they did with Krang.
It is.
His voice is great.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You guys
No,
make me want to
I like-
actually watch this movie.
I liked Bebop and Rocksteady a lot. I liked Krang a lot. I liked Tyler Perry in this movie, which is not something that I often say, but I do like Tyler Perry as Baxter Stockman.
I like Tyler Perry in things that he hasn't written.
Exactly.
I mean,
I liked the idea of Stephen Amell playing Casey Jones.
yeah.
I thought that was great casting.
Yeah.
I thought so. It was a great idea, and I love one of my favorite things about the movie is that Megan Fox did interviews saying that she did this movie for her kids because she wanted her kids to see her as a superhero. Yeah. Like, no, April's not the superhero. No, you're just. What do you guys think? Is April a superhero? Is April O'Neil a superhero?
Sexist pig.
Thank you, sweetie. That's my hetero life mate, Chris Kikukubiak, back there.
I will say I enjoyed the aspect that it was more like the cartoon that I grew up with, and that I enjoyed.
They heard us loud and clear
Yes.
about the first one.
Yes. Attack of the Clones.
Order 66. One of the greatest moments in.
No.
That was Revenge of the Sith.
That's Revenge of the Sith.
That was Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Everybody bags on the prequels, and there are times when that's deserved. But I think all of the prequels do have something to offer in them. I do think that the whole battle at the arena at Geonosis is one of the better battle sequences in Star Wars. So in that regard, I will definitely defend it. And the fact that Samuel L. Jackson got himself a purple lightsaber so he could be seen in the battle scenes.
There's video of him asking George Lucas about it, and he's like, he goes, so what kind of colors the lightsabers come in? And he goes, good guys get blue and green, bad guys get red. And he goes, you know you're gonna give me a purple lightsaber. Like it's so good. It's so good.
That's a pretty good Lucas impression too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You guys like Star Wars? Right.
I will say my favorite scene in that movie is this. Do you want to buy death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go back home and rethink your life. I want to go back home and rethink my life.
Obi-Wan said no to drugs.
Honestly, anything with Obi-Wan in that movie was amazing.
Well, Count Dooku tells him the entire plot, and it just establishes Obi-Wan as kind of an idiot sometimes.
The fact that there is a Star Wars movie where Obi-Wan says no to drugs, the fact that there is even a bar drug scene in a Star Wars movie in and of itself is just psycho crazy.
Wild. Yeah.
And in a good way. So I'm not saying bad things.
After Earth.
I don't care what anyone says. I like the name Cypher Rage.
Is this the Will and Jaden Smith movie?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not talking about Titan AE.
Correct.
Okay, I got nothing.
Titan AE is a good movie.
Yes, it is. That's why I was asking.
Very underrated animated movie, by
I
the way.
think it's great because it actually established the fact that we don't need any more Jaden Smith movies.
Here's the thing.
That was it. That was the one.
You know what, though? Here's the thing. I will defend Jaden Smith. I have not actually seen this movie, but Jaden Smith in The Get Down, he's actually really, really great in The Get Down. If you watch The Get Down on Netflix, which ended too soon,
I have one word
really
for
good
you.
in that.
No.
I've seen that. You know what? I've seen this movie. I don't remember anything about it.
You know, that's my thing.
That's fair.
I watched it. I know I watched it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the ending.
Well, you know what's wild is they had the power to like make themselves invisible in the movie, and I think the movie did that. Like, It snuck by
Its
me.
thesis was sound.
Yes.
What you just said, Wally, I think applies to about the last 5 or 6 Will Smith movies, at least in terms of the box office, except for the new Bad Boys.
Aladdin, God, what is wrong
The
with you?
Academy Award-winning Suicide Squad. It did win an Oscar.
It did for hair and makeup. He's not making that up.
Sure did.
Yeah. We're talking. Okay, so we're talking about the new live-action Aladdin. Or are we talking?
No. I just mentioned it because.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought
he
Derek
forgot
said
it.
that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was a successful Will Smith film.
I was ready to defend that actually.
No, I actually really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah. Oh. Oh no.
What?
50 Shades of Grey.
Oh.
Besides the obvious.
The memes are fire for this movie. The whole one where it's like, I have a pleasure room, and he opens the door and it's full of video games.
I thought it was a little bit soon for a Twilight remake, but you know, hey, that's
I mean, that's. I know too much about this movie. It started as Twilight fan fiction.
Look,
It did. It's absolutely 100%.
Did it really?
Yes,
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely true. That book started as Twilight fan fiction. She sold it and changed the names, and that's why we have 3 movies of Dakota Johnson and what's the dude's name?
No, some
Yeah.
guy.
look, middle-aged white women at Tupperware parties need porn too. Okay. We all gotta have our thing.
But we've all got Pornhub now.
this is a family show.
I haven't had a connection.
They're
all
children.
weekend.
Derek just buzzed me now. I'm not going to say anything nice about it.
Are you buzzing?
We'll get there eventually. So this was in our. We did this for the comedy festival, and I was hoping this one would get drawn
Lord.
again. I'm
That's the way I
going
think
to
it
go
is.
ahead and just put my finger on the buzzer. Freddie got fingered.
You're going to
here
put
we
your
go.
finger on the buzzer. I see what you did there, Derek.
I cannot believe this movie got funded. This is the worst. I can,
That was the whole reason for putting that in there, was just to see Jason go off again.
Because that was the way that our show ended at the comedy festival, is us going off on this movie.
was just me doing this.
Right. So I'm actually going to say something nice about this film.
better not.
When I see
I will flip this table over.
our friendship of 20 years will end. But
I want a divorce.
Here's what I will say about this. It pretty much ended the idea of Tom Green being a leading man in anything. But that's, you can't buzz me for that.
No.
That's a good thing.
Freddie Got Fingered gives hope to the filmmaker in me that my stupid shit will get greenlit. Thank you.
I will say,
Acting.
the best thing to come out of Freddie Got Fingered is Roger Ebert's review of the movie.
Yes.
He gave it a 0-star rating, which he almost never did. And he said, and I quote, "This movie doesn't scrape the bottom of the barrel. This movie isn't the bottom of the barrel. This movie isn't below the bottom of the barrel. This movie doesn't deserve to be mentioned in the same sentence with barrels."
I will. Well, one thing real quick. Hey, Jason. I never saw it.
Good for you.
Yeah, you know, you're doing fine.
Safe. Safe.
I was. And at first I didn't like it at all. I didn't quite entertain. The second time I was forced to watch it, I was like, okay, I can live with it.
Whoever forced you to watch a movie the second time, you need to call the police.
Who hurt you? Yeah. Do we need to call someone?
That's
Do you have a
abuse.
friend?
I'm going to text you the number for the Good Women's Center.
Cigars.
Waterworld.
I didn't think it was that bad.
The production values of that movie is legitimately fantastic.
It's Mad Max on water. If you like Mad Max, you're going to like Waterworld.
Yeah.
It's part of that awesome late period Dennis Hopper career, where like Speed and all that stuff. There's a lot of really like great, crazy Dennis Hopper roles in there.
You
and that's
know
one
the
of them.
weird thing about that movie is they're always on the search for paper, but they're smoking cigarettes like crazy.
Oh my God.
They're wrapped in banana peels. It's okay.
It inspired a dope stunt show at Six Flags, so
Valid.
That was Universal Studios.
Universal. Okay, you're right.
You know, in
Flags had
Japan,
Batman.
they have an entire Waterworld land coming.
Really?
I am going tomorrow.
Yes, it surrounds the entire country.
You know what? I just realized the irony in Waterworld land.
I was just about to point that out.
Do you Waterworld land?
Have you ever? Do you go into like a comedy club and you're like, "Wow, this is a Joker show" or something?
Moving on. Superman 3.
It's got Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I actually really like Richard Pryor in that movie.
The fight between Christopher Reeve as evil Superman is he legitimately frightening is what the guy next door just said. He's simultaneously scary and hysterical.
Right.
There's a moment where he's on the couch with Lana Lang and he's trying to like make out with her, and she's like, "You should probably go," because they hear on the radio that like a bus is falling off a bridge or something, and she's like, "You should probably go say that." He goes, "Well, there's no rush." It's a great moment. It also has that, that super gifable scene of him just shooting that whiskey.
Right.
I love watching him like,
Flick the
thump
pennies.
the peanuts and
Oh, the peanuts. That's right. That's right.
So, two things about that. One, the fact that that's Annette O'Toole playing Lana Lang, who goes on to play Clark Kent's mom on Smallville.
Yep.
Little bit creep factor there. And then the fact that is now, as of the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover on the CW, Superman 3 is canon. There is a scene of Brandon Routh and they're talking about fighting himself.
Spoilers.
It's canon now.
Not the first time I went crazy and fought myself.
I will.
Such a great scene.
I will say, I thought the opening scene with all like the Buster Keaton type shenanigans, I thought was actually pretty entertaining.
The weird Rube Goldberg device.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's man, that's super fun.
That's my favorite trope of the 80s is Rube Goldberg devices
Yeah.
in movies.
Yes.
Movie 43.
Woo! Lots of
I
good
didn't-
people in that movie. Lots of
It also it has the greatest actor of all time in it.
Hugh Jackman.
Yes, Hugh Jackman.
in the well,
Well, here's the thing about movie 43. It's hard to say enough about it because it's actually like 17 movies.
True.
Right.
So it's if you don't know, it's an anthology of short comedy films. James Gunn's got a film in it.
Yep.
So I will never say anything bad about James Gunn. He's one of my personal heroes.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
it gave us Jason Sudeikis as Batman.
That's right.
Did it really?
Yes. Jason Sudeikis as Batman, Justin Long as Robin. Hilarity ensues. John Hodgman as the Penguin, I think.
The cast overall is insane.
Yeah.
It's amazing the number of people that you know that you've seen in a million things that are huge stars.
Yeah.
That are in this movie that most of you are looking like, what the hell are they talking about? I've never heard of this.
Chris Pratt and Anna Faris have a scene that is disgusting, but it is so funny.
Back when they were still married,
Back
too.
when they were still, So, we don't
bring
know
that
that
up, why
caused the
don't you?
divorce. That probably caused it.
Chris Pratt listens to this show, and now.
Biodome.
Here's the thing. I've met Pauly a couple of times. Pauly's actually a pretty decent dude. I know he's got a rep, but I actually like Pauly. He's a good guy.
Tenacious D's in it
Yeah.
for like 3 seconds.
And Kylie Minogue's in it.
My
will
super
say that-
crush, Joey Lauren Adams in it.
The
Yeah, I was
idea
gonna
of
say, that's where I was going next was Joey.
the idea of locking Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin in a biodome away from all other humans sounds like a really good idea.
Well, that was positive about this film.
Outstanding concept.
Chef's kiss.
The Emoji Movie.
Patrick Stewart's in it.
It has that caused Jordan Peele to walk away from acting and become a director full time.
Right.
And
we got Get Out because
Yes.
we got Get Out and Us and the new Candyman. And,
Right.
Yeah. So I honestly, thanks Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
Great strides must come from great sacrifice.
That's right.
I found another Waldo.
There's so many
sorry.
Waldos.
There's,
Two in this room.
It's like, there he is.
Again,
There he also is.
I don't remember the character's name, but there were a couple moments that James Corden's character I thought was actually funny.
The British Emoji.
The one he was like a hand with a face on it.
But I want to reiterate, I know you already said Patrick Stewart, but for those of you who don't realize, yes, Patrick Stewart is in this movie. Patrick Stewart is playing a talking poop emoji.
Which is the part Jordan Peele turned down.
Exactly. I mean, the mind reels.
Yeah. The 1998 Godzilla film.
That's a lot of fish.
Okay, you know what? It's not a bad giant monster movie if you ignore the name of the film.
That's true. another movie with a very good soundtrack.
that's true.
Wallflowers covering David Bowie.
That is a great song.
Yeah, but I'm not so much down with the Puff Daddy.
No.
That is a banger, God.
Come with me.
I mean, yeah, it's mostly because I like Kashmir.
Yeah.
But it's still a good one.
But do you like a crazy person ranting over Kashmir?
Right. What is,
Interrupting Kashmir.
when have you ever
on
heard
who the crazy
Kashmir where it
person is.
wasn't being ranted over by someone?
That's very fair.
Yeah, it does wholly depend on who the crazy person is.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, he had to do something after Biggie died, and he kind of had to find his way.
Wow.
Mo money, mo problems.
Awed for that, really?
I will say, Tim Curry doing any type of European accent is just amazing.
That wasn't Tim Curry's not in that.
I thought it was. I thought he was like the Russian.
Oh, what was that actor's
Jean
name?
Reno. is
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. I
dadgummit.
actually really liked him in that movie.
Tim Curry amazingly
Edit that out.
transformed into Jean
Edit
Reno.
it out.
I love
Matthew Broderick really needed a payday after those people he killed.
It is the kind of role you think.
Will you stop?
Are we on Broderick again?
Oh no! Did you just talk
10
about
years
the
prior.
The Matthew Broderick car accident? Are we back on that again?
Moving on.
Just because it was your parents.
And now I dress up as a bat.
We are very close to falling off the rails completely here. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, I was prepared for this one. I don't care how many people hate this line, but I love it. Mother, you're alive? Too bad you will die.
I can't.
Did they still use the same like cool techno Mortal Kombat song from the first
No.
Mortal Kombat movie? Okay.
In the intro.
Okay, well then, all right. So it's got that in it. You can't go wrong with
Everything I
that.
like about that movie is because it's awkward, and I mean that sincerely. They replaced Christopher Lambert as Raiden with James Remar, who looks like, at all times, like, man, I cannot believe they cast me as a Thunder God. And it's endearing in a way.
Like, it's so funny because they had to change so many things from the first one that they had to keep coming up with explanations.
Sure.
So so for example, the new casting, there's a whole, they make a big deal out of, you look different. You like it? It's like, ooh, okay.
I feel different.
I feel
Mortal
different.
Kombat Annihilation was one of the best naps I ever had in a movie theater.
If you hated Johnny Cage in the first movie, it's okay. He dies like in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
So how did they explain the transformation? I mean, did they have like a Wampa show up? Because that would be pretty cool.
He does it exactly like that. He's
Right.
like, yeah, I'm different.
Only in the special edition.
Right.
Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World.
Jeff Goldblum.
Who doesn't like Jeff Goldblum, man? I would watch that dude just like read the phone book for 2 hours.
And he has a great show on Disney.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
No, earlier today, during the Legends of Tomorrow panel, somebody asked them what their superpower would be, and Matt Ryan responded, "My superpower would be Jeff Goldblum."
There was a great arcade video game made out of that.
There was.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Very fun.
the thing with Jeff Goldblum is that when you see him as a person in real life doing things, you realize how great an actor he is because he is astounding at acting normal.
Yeah.
Just opened up Jeff Goldblum and
Life finds a way.
Always looking for the next future ex-Mrs. Mouse. No.
Fool's Gold.
I don't know this.
What is this one?
That was the one with Matthew McConaughey and
All right,
what was her name? Kate Hudson.
They made more than one together, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because weren't they in How to Lose a Guy? Yeah, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
No,
Is that-
it's a separate movie.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Have you seen both to verify this?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Is that the one where they're like windsurfing in the desert or something like that?
That was Sahara.
Oh, never saw that one either. Apparently,
Honestly, that's
apparently
what I
I'm
thought
not a
it was too,
McConaughey
so I'm
fan.
Like, no, that's Sahara.
Well, just hold on. I'll buzz myself for that selection. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
We
Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth.
Yes. Fantastic.
Look, the first 10 minutes of that movie is amazing because where Wolverine is going through time, that was legitimately the best thing.
Well, visually, the way they did it was fantastic.
Right. Oh my God! I mean, honestly, if you put that at the beginning of Logan, that would have fit.
It was Ryan Reynolds' definitive version of Deadpool.
Shut your mouth.
At the absolute
Until
best.
Deadpool came out.
At that point.
Okay,
It, in a way, inspired the real Deadpool.
That's true.
true. I will say this, and I may be in the minority on this, but I actually like Gambit in that film too.
Taylor Kitsch is a good Gambit.
Yeah, I like them too.
For him to be in that movie, but he's great.
But very little makes sense to be in that movie.
Hey, another movie with sweet Hugh Jackman pics. So, you know.
You don't have to tell me twice. Smokey and the Bandit 3. We talked about 2 at the comedy festival.
We did.
So 3 was.
So this is for those who don't know, was the one that Burt Reynolds passed on, and so Jackie Gleason played both Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey. So it led to a great joke in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where Station was doing charades, and it was Smokey and the Bandit 3. Smokey is the Bandit.
So which one is the one where Snowman becomes the?
It's that one.
It's the same
It's
thing.
that one, but
What?
they
All this happened in one movie?
Yes,
It did. And then at the end, the Bandit became the Bandit.
When does all right? In the interest of equal time, when does Sally Field get to be the Bandit? Because I will watch that movie even now.
Smokey and the Bandit
1,000%.
I didn't even know there was a third movie.
Yeah, we could have Smokey and the Bandit 4, and it's just a still camera shot of Burt Reynolds' gravestone.
Just because Burt Reynolds killed your brother.
So wait a minute. Is
will he come
song,
back?
Is the song in that one then northbounded down or southbounded down?
Wait, if they're gonna do a fourth one like that, does that mean Burt Reynolds comes back as a dog?
Oh, I'm into that.
Oh, deep cut. Very nice.
G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra.
Okay. I wasn't, but I'm so excited. I saw this movie at midnight when it came out because I was such a huge G.I. Joe fan, and I knew from the trailer. There's a moment early on when I realized that movie and Team America World Police are the same movie. They blow up the Eiffel Tower. There is a shot of Channing Tatum rides his motorcycle through the cemetery, and I expected that like Freedom Castle Bucko 5. There's a bit at the beginning where a jet fighter gets hit by a missile, and 1 second before the missile hits, it does an extreme zoom in on the pilot's face, and he just goes, "No, my God!" Like it's like something straight out of South Park. If you watch it as a live-action remake of Team America, because it did come out after, it is unbelievably entertaining.
Matt Damon.
I will do that if you can promise me that they also redid the musical numbers.
I wish.
All the musical numbers.
I don't think any of us are gonna top that.
So wait, I'm just trying because I actually, in fairness, haven't seen it. This is the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Cobra Commander, right?
He calls himself the Doctor for the whole movie. It's very strange.
Okay, and who played Baroness?
Scarlett Johansson?
Sienna Gill.
Yeah. Okay.
Sienna, what's her name? John
Sienna Miller. I will also see that movie.
Yeah.
Somebody cast John Cena.
It's Baroness Corbin.
That would be amazing.
I couldn't.
Any other comments on G.I. Joe?
The design of Snake Eyes costume I thought was pretty tight.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Destro looks good whenever he becomes Destro.
Yeah. No, costuming in general. I mean, that's why I brought up Baroness because she did look good in the role.
Blade Trinity.
I don't.
Triple H is a vampire.
Yeah, yet another movie that led to Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. He had to do like 7 comic book movies before he finally did Deadpool and found his niche.
Right.
Wesley Snipes as Blade is just great.
It's fantastic. It also led to Patton Oswalt telling stories about his time on the set.
Oh my God, yes.
Which is an incredible story of Wesley Snipes would stop talking to the director halfway through filming, and he would only communicate to David Goyer through Post-it notes that he signed Blade. And so it's just like my favorite anecdote about the Blade movies. Just the idea that he was like, Blade don't pay taxes.
In fairness, if you had to talk to David Goyer, you might resort to Post-it notes too.
1,000%.
Oh, yes.
Jack and Jill.
It's got Adam Sandler in it.
Al Pacino is in it.
Great.
Al Pacino trying to hook up with Adam Sandler in drag. This is a thing that exists in the world. We're all better for it.
It does have a really fantastic line reading from Al Pacino because it has this fake Dunkin' Donuts commercial in the movie, and it stops. It's genuinely the funniest thing. He at the end of the commercial, he points at the screen and goes, "No one should ever see this." And it's just like this very plain, and I felt like it was the DP catching him off camera,
Right.
when he was watching the dailies from Jack and Jill, and he's just like, "I hope I don't ever come to this." I should have gotten buzzed for that.
Sticking with the Adam Sandler camp, Big Daddy.
Oh, that wasn't bad.
Yeah,
Again, Joey. What is your beef with Joey Lauren Adams tonight? That's two Joey Lauren Adams movies.
Okay, for
She's
the
very
record,
nice.
for
She was
the
here a few
record,
years ago.
for the record, ketchup for dinner is amazing. Thank you.
What's that?
Ketchup for dinner is amazing.
Oh.
Didn't he order like 30 packets of ketchup or something?
Something like that.
Kid, yeah.
Yeah.
The kid's name was Frankenstein.
And
Frankenstein.
and Jon Stewart acts in the movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another really good soundtrack, I think.
Oh
That's
yes.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got Adam Sandler.
Jon Stewart was really good in the movie.
Yeah, he was. That was actually my introduction to Jon Stewart.
Right. I mean,
It was Death to Smoochie for me.
Is everybody in this room too young to remember the Jon Stewart show on MTV? Am I the only one? Wow. Okay, okay, good. All right, thank you, sweetie.
I was trying to explain the state to somebody.
we just don't watch
Oh,
MTV.
the state. I love the state. That's a whole other thing.
The 2001 version of Planet of the Apes.
The makeup and prosthetic work in that movie, and I can tell you because I've seen it firsthand in the Merrill Movie Museum, is outstanding.
Yes.
Rick Baker, fantastic stuff.
Right.
Charlton Heston has one scene in the movie, and it's fantastic. Especially because they got Charlton Heston to say anti-gun dialogue, which is the ballsiest move anyone has ever made in Hollywood. Yeah, it's worth it for that alone.
They had a sound alike. Have to go over his dialogue.
They brought in Jim Cummings to be Charlton Heston.
Oh bother! I thought the design of the apes was actually worked out fine. Though I think the female scientist one kind of looked like Michael Jackson towards the but I don't know.
Oh, it's the only time
it was the
Helena
hair.
Bonham Carter's been compared to.
Yeah, I should have busted him on that one.
It was the hair.
I just want to note that while I will object to you continually picking on Joey Lauren Adams, Mark Wahlberg, go for it.
Well, it's another movie that proves that even female apes want to have sex with Mark Wahlberg.
What? No.
Oh,
What? No.
Spoilers for Planet of the Apes 2001. The movie begins with him crashing his ship. He can't even bother to fly it into a perfect landing. The movie ends with the ape test pilot making a perfect landing in the middle. It just proves that Mark Wahlberg is not evolved.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. It led to some great stories from Kevin Smith about
That's very true.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
props for that.
I think we have time for one more, and I think this is a good one to end on.
Cool.
Uh-oh.
X-Men Dark Phoenix.
I watched it on a flight, so I didn't
pay to see? Nope, that's not possible.
You paid for the plane ticket, so yeah.
I
You paid too much to see
I
it.
did not pay for the plane ticket.
It is the best X-Men movie that I never saw.
I was just about to say that same thing.
It came out the week that I was at Niagara Falls Comic Con, so I didn't see it either.
I also did not see that movie.
Come on, let's do one more real quick.
One more real quick.
You might have to.
It does
Is
have
Dazzler's in it?
What? I'm seeing it now.
I know, right? Really? I know you're being facetious.
No, I'm
oh, really?
not.
Because when I found out
Is
Dazzler
Beast
was in
and
it, I was like,
Dazzler
damn
in
it,
a
I'm
scene
watching
together?
this
Please,
movie.
God
I haven't heard anything about Dazzler since the arcade game.
She's literally in the background singing a song like during one.
All right, I'm done with
Here's
this.
the thing. I will shout out. I haven't seen the movie, but in general, Cody Smith McPhee is Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is my favorite Marvel character.
Sure.
And I think he did a great job in the role. It's one of the things I don't like about the original Bryan Singer films. I like Alan Cumming fine. He did great with what he was given, but that wasn't really the Nightcrawler that we know from the comics. So I'm glad somebody finally brought that to live
And
action.
Sophie Turner's great too. I think.
Yep.
movie.
Yes.
That was actually in the hat.
Wait, the cat's in the hat?
Buzzing!
I will not watch it on a screen. I will not watch it with my friends. It's Dr. Seuss. It doesn't have to be a real word.
I love you so much.
That hit different.
I will not watch you when you stream.
I will not
Not
watch
watch you on the plane.
I don't know that we can top that.
I don't know. I think that's a good one to go out.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to end on. So, guys, thank you as always. I know it's not easy to defend bad movies, so let's give these guys a round of applause. Thank you guys so much for attending, and enjoy the rest of Pensacon.
Come back next year for Defending Bad Movies 3D.
This time it's personal.
That means I'm sitting in the middle of the road.